Hello, I'm Marcus V. Calvert, and welcome to Tales Unlimited Kitchen Rants. It's a little after 7 o'clock on the 30th of June, Monday. I was wise to take it off. Drove back from PopCon Indy. Not bad. Good con, interesting people, interesting ideas. May have to make some tweaks to my business in terms of how I pitch my books, and maybe some extras to add on down the road. Um, did a story before I'd left. I put together a podcast. I didn't like it, so I'm just going to do it again. Um, the story was called, what was it called? Blah, blah, blah. Tip of my mind. Oh, The Grapevine. Futuristic tale. There's this colony in space, a mining colony called Sturger Colony, populated for well over a century. You had the terraforming, making it habitable, three suns, very desert-like, rocky, arid, it depends, but basically not a very hospitable place. And these colonists would settle up and they would move every so often, basically up a continent, mining it from everything from oil to jewels to rare earth minerals to stuff that's not on the periodic chart. And they get married, they'd have kids, and the lucky ones got off rock because this is not a good place to raise your kids. But if you do, they're going to be some hard drinking types, and the only real occupations there are tech, miner, and someone who works in a brothel, if you get my meaning. And that's it. And all of a sudden, there's a bit of a strike. The company that owns this particular world and several other worlds targets this one and says, okay, we want you to take a 20% pay cut on the next contract. It's like, what? For what? And normally when there's a pay cut, it means that, okay, the world's almost out of resources. Like, has it been mined out? And it doesn't make sense to pay you full on. But no, not for any time soon. Like a generation or three, no, more like 4 or 5, you might run out of juice, run out of stuff worth drilling, right? Something else is going on, and this bartender and his son, who's been basically running the largest bar on the planet, they get the word first. The company's been bought out, hostile takeover, and this is a guy who does not have any background in the mining game. His background is in prison worlds. He just bought up the company, or he's about to. Basically, it's a formality. There's like a board vote coming up, and if it goes his way, all of the mining worlds will become prison worlds. And I'll stop there. uh Fiendish, diabolical, schemy thing about to happen. I like this story. Needs a better end, but yeah, I think I can play with that. But going back to PopCon Indy, even before I hit the road, I realized that the brackets thing I'm doing is not going to work. Now, for you new folk who are onto the newsletter for like the first or second time, what I had in my head was this idea. What if you took like the battery process, wrote a short story every week, every week, every week? I think this was like the 70th story I've done since last July. And it's a good process if it's the only book you mean to write, or if you're juggling this and maybe whatever novel you were working on at the time. It's good. You can fit that in. I'm writing a lot of different things, doing a tour, day job, da 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 da. I don't quite have the headspace for what's going to happen. I mean, I need to sleep, but it was an interesting experiment. The logic is this: let's say you wrote enough short stories for like 50 of them, and then you take 2 stories at random, you polish them each one time, and then you see which one's closer to being done. And that's the story you advance to the next level. So if you're doing a full battery run, it might be 100 short stories, and it's like 2 stories into 1 story leaves. The winner advances, the loser, okay, needs more work. Maybe it never happens, maybe it ends up in a future piece. And then on the other side, like in basketball or any sport with brackets, you do another 50, and then those two. Da, 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 da. But if you just want to do it quick and dirty, you have your first 50 short stories. You break off 20 or 25, maybe that's your first book, but you never stop writing those short stories. They will keep you sharp. And then when that book is out, you start your new brackets, and hey, you will have plenty of stories, always, you should anyway, by the time you're done with the editing and the whatnot. Um, Normally I would have done this, but then I had another idea. See, I don't have one series of short stories, I have two. And I was starting a third one. I was going to call it Tales Unlimited Volume 1. But then I'm selling like crazy these past few weeks, right? Book of Schemes, sinister stuff, old stories, unheroic, funny, dark, twisted tales. And I'm looking at the stuff that's new, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, I still have it in me to do a fourth unheroic or a fourth Book of Schemes. I was thinking this earlier, but I'm like, I don't know if I could write that many stories that fit that mold. I mean, like organically. Like I just have an idea, I sit down and wow, this one is good for schemes. Wow, this one's good for unlikely heroes. But if I do it long enough, it might happen. I may have to push the release date back, but I'm thinking I'm going to drop both of them sometime in 26. And I'm just going to keep writing short stories until it folds, until it happens. And I just have to be extra careful on quality and type. Meanwhile, Mystery Project chugs along. Meanwhile, Antagonist Cookbook Volume 5. Oh, is ooh. Just when you think you've come up with every possible variation of stuff. I was coming up with stuff during PopCon, and you know who you are. The dude who picked up one of my books and came up with something for an employee application. Yeah, that one's going into the cookbook. Pat yourself on the back. That one was wrong. An accursed employee application. Oh, absolutely going in. So there's that, and then Battery, just adding and adding and adding. The ideas just won't stop. It's amazing how many ideas I have not written down and completely forgotten, lost to time in my entire life. So yeah, as you can see, I'm doing too much for a bracket setup. I'm probably doing too much to throw down both books in the same next year, but you know what? Go big or go home. All right, I'm Marcus V. Calvert, and this is Tales Unlimited. Please like and subscribe. My books are available on iVillain.net. Amazon, Kindle, 21 books. They're there. Please, by all means, purchase. It'll be a while before I'm back in Indiana again, but I'm looking forward to returning. And for everyone else, stay cool, stay safe. Bye.